Hello to the world out there. We're having too much fun here. Sorry. We do just a quick 15-minute message on Wednesdays, but we're having a lot of fun here, having the house home church of TCI in Marysville. Come out and enjoy some food. Today's message, quick, short, fast, to the point, and then if there's any discussion afterwards, we do it. I want to talk about Samson. And he's this cool cat in the Bible. If you don't know, look in the book of Judges, chapter 13 through about 17 or 18. It's just about 4 chapters, 5 really kind of condense his life. And I'm going to run it through for everyone like we usually do. The first and the fastest is this. Samson was this cat who was born, and he was born actually in trouble. He was already started in trouble. And what I mean by that is it says here that his mother, that an angel came and told his mom, "Indeed now you are barren and have borne no children, but you shall conceive and bear a son." So even before he was even born, he was already kind of, you know how you always tell someone like, you were born in the ghetto to one parent, you're guaranteed you're going to go to prison. Well, I mean, this lady, this poor guy, he's being, born into a world in a barren mother, and it's already obstacles before he was even coming into the world. He gets into the world, he grows up. He's a tough cat. This is a bad dude. Big, muscular, massive, violent, powerful man. He marries a Philistine wife. And again, when you look at the region down there, it's the difference of saying, like, I am an American white guy, and I'm marrying a Native American. They're all from the same region, but there's 2 different cultures and so forth. If you read the entire stuff, and you're definitely going to think it's a male chauvinistic handwriting. It is. I mean, literally, Samson's like, so I told my mom and dad, go down to the town. I saw this chick. She's hot. I want her. That's not even paraphrasing. That's almost word for word out of chapter 14, which is hilarious. Not hilarious in the respect of, like, I think that's great. All men should do that. But I just find it humorous. Most of the time, we look at Samson on the leadership aspect. Like, okay, the guy made a lot of mistakes. So, like, my favorite leadership expert, one of my mentors at a young age, was in Dr. John Maxwell. My dad connected me with John, and John used to teach at his church, and I'd go on the weekends and I'd learn. And John talked about Samson all the time because Samson made so many mistakes as a leader. I mean, it's just like one after another. When you think about it, you're just like, dude, really? That's the same mistake you made 2 years ago. And he'd do them again. And he was so egotistical. But we're not going to focus on any of that, actually. I want to just keep going through this. He ends up getting married. And then he gets in this fight, and he actually falls out of favor with his wife because he hates his wife now because she kind of betrayed him, in essence, to the Philistines. So he kills the Philistines, takes his wife and says, "I'm done with you," throws her out, kind of a thing. The wife's dad takes her back, gives her to Samson's best man at the wedding. All right, she's yours now. Samson gets a little lonely, decides to come back and pay a visit to his wife, go to my dad's place, my father-in-law. We'll see what's going on. So he does, and the dad's like, "What are you talking about? You sent her back. I need to get rid of her. I don't want daughters. I need sons to make profit. So I gave her to your best man. Take my other daughter. I've got another one. You want that one?" I mean, when you look at this guy, and he's going through all of this, in between all of these little stories I'm sharing, there's fight stories in here where he killed like 30 guys and all this stuff. He lost a bet, and he liked to play in riddles, and he didn't like to tell the truth. And that's usually where we focus on Samson and stuff. It says the Philistines came up and burned his wife and her father. Because what happened was when Samson got to his father-in-law and he found out that she'd been given away, he got irate. So he went down and killed a bunch of Philistines. Well, they got mad and said, "We're done with this brute of a man." And they went up and burned his wife and father-in-law. So things are kind of turning bad. They're not going so well. But this guy is tough. And I say tough. There's part of the story tells how he ended up going to a place in an event, and on the way he sees a lion. He kills the lion with his bare hands. No weapon, just bare hands. Lion's on the side of the road, goes by later as the lion's been eating the ravaged, beast eating them and birds, and somehow bees laid honey in it, and there's a whole honey nest growing, and he reaches down and grabs the good honey. It's honey, and he's chomping on it and eating as he goes. He's just a crazy kind of guy when you think about it. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight him in a bar. I'll be honest with you, and I've been in over 300 fights, and I am trained in all kinds of martial arts. But guess what? I wouldn't mess with this guy. He's just like crazy. but I can relate to him from my past days of being like that. You do have to have a mindset if you're crazy on the street. And in essence, he was on the street. He was like a thug. And this thug was just feared all over the region. Now I start to see how I relate to the man as they found him. He continues. He found a fresh jawbone of a donkey. He reached out, grabbed his hand, took it, and he killed 1,000 men with it. Well, I can relate to that. I can relate to this guy. I'm starting to see he's human. He's flesh. He's not perfect. He makes a ton of mistakes. I can relate. Then it says a little later in the 16th chapter, on around verse 20th, it says, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." So he awoke from his sleep and said, "I'll go out as before at other times, shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had departed from him. Uh-oh. I felt like that last week. That heart attack, the heart surgery, or not the heart attack, the heart surgery. I got this. I've had 4 heart attacks. I know this routine. I know I got to do the jab, pop a hook in there, bam, and it's over. I'll get this, right? I've been here. I got the mindset. And then I felt, wait, this isn't something I've been here before. This is way beyond what I can handle. And it's like me and Justin were talking before we got started. You mean, wait, you don't control your life? No, I don't, and neither do you. We think we do. I think because I lost 280 pounds and I climb mountains and I walk 4 miles minus lately because of the heart, every single day. No, doesn't matter. I'm battling genetics that have been in my family for millions of years, or however many years you want to consider it. I'm battling stuff I did 25 years ago. You can't go out and party like a rock star and do that for years upon years and think that's not going to affect you down the road. It will. It does. It's going to happen to a lot of people. It catches up with us. But I felt like God had abandoned me for a second. I'm like, wait a second, man. I just got I'm finally getting everything I've wanted, I've worked for. I feel abandoned. I'm going to die? Sorry about that. We got people over here beeping and hollering horns. We going to die? Is that it? I don't know. I really don't. Neither do you. So what did Samson do? And I started to look into his life and say, okay, so now Samson told him his strength was in his hair. That's what he actually told his wife, Delilah, the prostitute that he was sleeping with, because that was the next thing that happened. He found a prostitute, walked through the town. He's like, yo, you're hot. Literally, and I'm not exaggerating. The way I'm speaking is literally how he actually spoke, just in a couple different words. And so he's having sex and he's partying with this girl, and finally the Philistines are like, hey, could you figure out what the guy's strength is? And then she did. And like an idiot, he gave in to his temptation. And his temptation, his weakness was women. He had a lot of them. I mean, the guy was a good-looking stud. The man that men wanted to all be like. And women wanted to be with him. So he had such this ego, this arrogance. And oh my God, if you guys could see the spider behind my friend Dr. Vance Whippo's head right there. It's huge, but it's outside. Oh, that's terrifying. Holy smokes. Good Lord. You know what? I think my Pentecostal's coming back in. I might speak in tongues. Sorry, side note for those out there.
Speak the devil out of that spider.
We'll speak the devil out of it. So here's Samson. They cut his hair, because that's what he said his strength was in. Is the strength in the hair? I don't know if it is or isn't. Is it metaphoric? Is it real? We've been stupid as humans. We fight wars over, I believe, it's real, 100% the way it is. And then the other ones, no, it's metaphorically. And because I'm metaphoric and you're real, or I'm real and you're metaphoric, we're going to war forever and kill people over it. That's stupid. But that's what happens. So I don't care if you're metaphorically thinking it or if you think it's real or not. The symbol was his hair, you know. For me, it's my mind, it's my thoughts. I have to have my thoughts. If I can't have my mind, I don't feel like I can have me. I don't feel like I'm me. So that's why I don't like doing things that alter my mind. I like to be fresh and yet at the same time, this week they gave me all these pills, 32 or 33 different prescriptions that I have to take, and you got to take 2 here, sir, and then take 1 here, and take 1.5 on this, and don't take the extra quarter of that one, because if you do, your heart will stop. Oh my God. Stand up with 1 leg here and put 1 finger out there and bend over all at the same time. But guess what? That's okay. Samson had to have felt the same way, because this guy got put into this basement where they pretty much made him use his muscles, and he didn't have much left, but his hair started to grow. he started to think again. And he started reminiscing. And now he's blind. It says right here that it literally, they said, the Philistines took him and put his eyes out. They popped his eyes out. I don't know if you guys ever seen that happen, but it's probably the most disgusting thing you'll ever see when a man can take his finger and you put it in their eyeball and it shoots out and it just dangles. And it's sick. They did that. And there's this guy now with no eyes. And what happens? Samson gets brought out to the king's court where all the rulers, the emperors, they call them lords, the lords of the country, and they're all hanging out, and there's about 3,000 people, men and women, all there, all watching, and they're supposed to be entertained, and they're laughing at Samson. They bring this guy, and he's a joke now. It says, then Samson called to the Lord, saying, O Lord God, remember me. Remember me, I pray. Strengthen me, I pray, just this once. Now, if you read below, it's going to say he said it in the name, and I'll tell you, oh God, that I may take one blow and take advantage of the Philistines and take vengeance on them for your eyes. Well, now we're getting into discussing, is my God the same God as their God? And all, we're not dealing with that. I'm trying to show you an example of a mindset to overcome your issue like Samson's, or as I'm going through the health issue, how you can overcome these obstacles, be it a TBI, traumatic brain injury, be it Department of Corrections and being monitored for the rest of our lives or for certain years, or divorces or marriages or children and nieces and nephews and calamity and all the crap that follows us. It's all the same, guys. But this guy at the very end said something. He said, then Samson called to the Lord, saying, O Lord, remember me. I think about the word remember me. That implies that he's not in his memory. It's like when I see Paul this week, I stopped and I was like, Paul, how are you, my friend? I was in a hospital for a few days. I hadn't seen him. I was so glad to see him. I wanted to catch up. I wanted him to know he was in my thoughts during that time. I sent him a video to make sure he knew that he was in my thoughts because he's my friend. And I contacted my friends and I sent messages. I wanted them to know I'm not dying. I'm not giving up. I'm fighting. Remember me. There's a key there. And I'm not going to tell you totally exactly what the key is. I want you guys to figure it out for yourself. It's only a few chapters, literally. It's like 4 or 5 to read through. And think of that term when it says, remember me, oh God. So what does Samson do? He goes down there in front of all those people, and he shoves those pillars, and he's blind, and he just says, give me the strength one final time. And he brings the whole building down. This is the story. The whole thing comes in and kills them all. Who gets the last laugh? Samson. But at the end of the day, do we really want to be the guy having the whole thing craven on us? Not really. But that's because Samson went too far. So let me ask you a question. Have you gone too far? I don't think so. If we're still able to ask that question, I don't think so. But there are some people that have gone too far, and I've met them when I was in prison. And they're in there for life now. Simple things. A fight at a bar. Just a simple fight. And it escalated quick. And they happen all the time. You're just like, next thing you know, a guy's dead. And you're like, oh my God, well, I'm going away. It was a one-time thing. I never even got in a car accident. I never even got in a fight at school my whole life. And I become a guy that goes to a bar 3 times and I get in one fight and my whole world ends. There's things like that happen. Is it too late? In some respects it is. But you can get second lives. We can get second lives. And that's what Samson talks about, is a second life. And there's a song I want you guys to listen to. Can you help me, dear, with the name of it today? A New Lease on Life. If you guys get a chance, it's by Andy Grammer. A New Lease on Life. The whole song is, I got a brand new lease on life. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. I got a brand new lease on life. And guess what? That's what I want you to hear today. I'm being told I'm not going to make it. And you know what? If you're my friend, then you have been with me. And one of the men here right now has been with me through countless times being told, you're not going to make it. I've had to have people carry me up to kneel at an altar to do a ceremony because I refused to just die and go quietly into the night. Well, guess what? You have to have that Samson mindset. I don't care. I messed up like Samson. I don't care what you did that you messed up like Samson. I don't care. I was ruthless on the street as a thug, gangster, idiot. But guess what? I got a second chance. I got a new lease on life. So what is your new lease on life, Cam? What are you going to do with it? You going to sit around and just twiddle your thumbs the rest of your life? No, you know what he's going to do with it? He's doing what he's doing right now. He's saying, all right, I'm going to shove these pillars down in my life, and I'm going to build a trucking company, and we're going to go global. That's the difference. It's a brand new lease on life. And that doesn't mean you have to change your whole life and become huge and bigger than life. It just means if you make a mistake, it doesn't have to be drastic like Samson. It can be as simple as today when there was a lot of frustration going on with me in a situation, and my heart was about to explode. And what I mean by that is to clarify, and we're almost wrapping this up. We got about a minute left. I was in cardiac arrest, and I've been in it for about 4 days. And I'm not going in to get the surgery until after my wedding this Saturday. So the hospital and me are doing everything we can to keep me from not dying to get through the surgery next week. And I was a little stressed out with my partner. And I was like, "Rah! You're not listening." Little things too. It's not just the big mess ups. We don't have to wait for the time you kill the guy. So I'm not telling you to go out and like end your world today and start from scratch. I'm saying even little mistakes, like just forgetting to smile and say thank you. Or say I'm sorry. Simple things like that. A few minutes later, I made sure I got a hold of her, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I hope you didn't think I was coming at you, because I really wasn't. So make sure you understand that about Samson. Just take that time to understand no matter what you do this week. It's okay. You're going to make your mistake. Cece, you got anything to say? First Lady of TCI, if you don't know, we're getting married Saturday.
Am I crazy?
Nothing, Dad?
No. Take one day at a time, literally. A lot of times we will create this magical vacation, and we think we're going to do this on this day, and this on this day, and this on this day. What happens when you get there and you eat something and now you have food poisoning? Are you going to sit in bed all day and cry? Or are you going to find some small things to do around the hotel? Like, you got to go with the flow. That's what I call it. I call myself a go with the flow girl. So that's what you kind of got to do, especially at this place that we're in right now. Trusting God that He's in control of all things because He created us. So go with the flow.
Go with the flow. By the way, when she says go with the flow, just so you guys know, I've seen this. And usually it always is go with the flow. Until you don't go with her flow. And then it turns into like demonic. Her head swivels 3 times and she's like, grabs you by the back of your head, lifts you up and says, you will go in my flow or you will die.
Can I add one compliment?
Absolutely, sir.
A principal component that I virtue and I cherish is your courage to participate where you do that and you love that and you step right in. And the example you set, I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any thoughts on old Samson?
Oh, yeah. It's Samson. Wonderful story. Teaches us how not to be, I like to say.
Nice.
Samson thought all of his power was in his hair. But it wasn't. It was in his belief in God. Mm. He was blind, but he still had the power to overcome. Thank the Lord for bringing you, Jonathan. You always have this unique way of telling a story to make it so that we can understand in new light. You are that man who was blind, but you always believe and trust. All these years that I've known you, you never give up, and you bring down the building, even if you know it's going to fall on top of your head.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Doesn't matter. Always need one of those, right? It's, you have been my friend and my confidant in a lot of things. And, it's an honor to be here with you once again. Last time I actually did some sort of service with you was quite a few years ago.
The Unity March.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You don't send... I love my brother, but we went to this place, and they didn't tell him kind of how to... what they was walking into. And he did his great sermon, but it was, set for a different church style. and we got into a
Anglican
southern. Half the group was from the south, and they get a little loud, and they want that hallelujah. And we had fun. We tore it up together.
As we're sweating it.
And then, oh, by the way, it was like literally no BS, like 105.
It was
It was so hot. We're all drenched, wearing suits, see stains just all under your armpits. You're just not. It's not soaked. It's dripping.
Yes, your purple was no longer purple.
It was no longer
it
purple.
was black.
But on that note, can I share one thing?
Yes.
On your note about not the sharp